We got Neo at the back, leading by Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Ethereum falling down. Bitcoin Cash streaming ahead. Then we've got Neo. Neo right at the back, not doing very well. If you back Neo, you'd feel like a bit of a stupid cunt right now. Further up behind there, we've got some Amite Go coming up behind the Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. Litecoin trying to make a move now. Litecoin not doing too bad, but all of a sudden we see Neo is starting to go from the back to the front. He's there, he's getting a bit further up. He's going further up. Bitcoin Cash still doing well, up about 15%, but Neo is going to be going a bit further, and here we go. Bitcoin Cash still looking shit, and it's not good for Neo. Neo is right at the back. Looks like we backed a fucking loser. I really wish I hadn't backed Neo. It was a really bad idea, so I'm going to sell it all at 20. Selling all my Neo at 20, going to sell it at 22. I can't sell it because Bittrex has got it down for maintenance. But what the fuck is happening now? We've got Neo coming up from the back. Neo is going, he's going all the way up. He's going to go. He's going all the way. He's going to win. He's going to beat it. Bitcoin Cash falling down. Bitcoin falling down. Ethereum falling down. And Neo has taken it for the fucking win.
What the hex is you guys talking about?
Good morning, you guys. When Bob's.
There we go. I am live. So, guys, well, today I'm joined by Richard Hart to talk about Bitcoin Hex and all and sundry, really. How's it going, Richard?
Doing pretty good, man. First surprise, I have 3 interviews, and then it turns out I have 4. So here's 4.
Blame the British guy. So, yeah, no, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you must have a shitload going on as, it's like, what, 4 weeks till the launch of Bitcoin Hex?
It's probably 6 or more. But so we added support for these 3 addresses, which probably doesn't actually take 2 weeks, but it's a good cover and excuse for the other lateness we have anyway. So it's good optics. We have a good excuse to be a couple
under promise,
weeks late.
over deliver, as they say.
Welcome to software, man.
What the heck?
I've just started to do a video to say thank you very much to my 20,000 subscribers, and then a plumber turned up to fix my washing machine because my son, my mother-in-law's just over him. She gave him some money, some English money, and he's somehow managed to hide a 50 pence piece in his clothes, and it's broken the washing machine, the brand new fucking washing machine, by the way.
Bill collector at my door. What can Pulsechain do for me?
Because I don't really like the project. The project, this is mobile gaming, okay? So mobile gaming, and you can mine via doing this. So you can mine from your mobile phone. That's the angle they're going at to get a really wide spread. So if you can mine from your phone, it's very easy to do. You can do it while you're having a shit in the morning. You can fucking do it while you're lying in bed. All sorts, okay? So while you're sat in traffic, while you're on the train, while you're waiting to put your phone on airplane mode, while you're sitting on a fucking Ryanair flight that you're just dreading that is going to take off any moment because you think the pilot's probably just been trained with a bag of taters and a pint of Guinness. And no, well, that's just me being horrible to the Irish. I like the Irish. I've got a green screen behind me. Yay, go green. Anyway, so hi, it's Keith. Someone's made a really, really interesting comment on my YouTube channel. It says, die, you cunt, I think it was. Oh no, here we go.
Well, if Bitcoin will become the ultimate type of a form of the currency been adopted by human society, I can tell exactly what's going to happen as the worst scenario or the must scenario. We're all going to die. This is not a joke.
Hi everyone, I don't know if this is live. I have really bad internet where I am. Can anyone hear me? Jump in the pool? Oh, it's so cold. It is so fucking cold. Let me just see the temperature, hold on. Oh, come on. Fucking hell, it's like 20 degrees. The hot tub's like 40. Let me get the hot tub, please, yeah? Oh, fucking cunts. All right then, end of my stream, guys. Catch you later.
You really don't want to sell the bottom if you don't.
No, yeah, precisely. So given that Bitcoin Hex is going to be technically free, if it's free, I'm just going to set and forget. If I buy it, I might play around a little bit more, but I can't see many people doing that. Well, I don't know. You're going to get all those people that are trying to extrapolate a little bit extra out of it and try and outsmart the system, I guess.
Well, I mean, if you do it for 5 years, you get double your stack. And that,
if I did it for 5 years, I would lose the fucking key. I'd be like, what browser was that on?
Well, I mean, they're seed words, right? So it's just, you just save the words.
What the heck?
What the hex?
Where the fuck did you find all those fucking clips? Oh, I'm crying, man. They're awful.
You think you can delete it just like that, huh? And everything disappears, right?
Wow.
The internet is forever.
The internet never forgets.
Keith, welcome to the show. Hey, 5 years is up, so the question is, did you remember the seed words, as Richard said?
Yeah. I've got stakes running till my kid's 21st birthday, so I'm good.
Nice. Well, welcome to the show. We got 50 people watching live already out the gate. That's very cool. Let me just say hi, whoever is here. We got Toby1 is first. He's going to show up later with the TA bit. We got Hex on Air tuning in. Tam in the house. Good to see you. Bit Finesse. DJ and Dougie is here. Brizology. Agenda 69 tuning in from Scotland. There you go. Condor is here. Cubat. Wow, that's a live crowd. Man, thank you so much for joining us. That's pretty cool. Like, my Keith Wareing moment is really my story is like I've watched you since forever, since 2015. I told you in the green room 2015, 2016, when it wasn't crypto yet. It was all binary options trading, and you were showing TA and how you do the Forex and all of that stuff. And then eventually you pivoted in the summer of 2017 to crypto, if I remember correctly. And I think you made a video about XRP. That was like your first crypto video. And you said, guys, I made some research here. XRP, they're opening up offices all around the globe, and you showed your website, and I think we're onto something here. They're recruiting people for all these offices, and I was watching that. I was like, oh yeah, shit, he's onto something here. Let's go into crypto. And so you're actually the reason why I'm in crypto in the first place, from watching your stuff back in the day, which is probably crazy to you.
Yeah. It's mad, actually. You know, like I did that whole kind of binary options thing for a couple of years, and then realized that the whole thing was a scam. And as you mentioned earlier in the green room, you know, like my channel was called Scam Reviews for a bit, because I was just fucking trying to expose all this fucking shit. It's funny because I used to have a software company that made like indicators back in the day.
Yes.
For trading kind of options and Forex. And we noticed actually that our data feeds didn't match up with a lot of these platforms, which is one of the first things that made me realize there's something not right here. And that's actually how I got into Bitcoin, because there's a couple of partners in the business, and I said, look guys, I'm out, you know, I'm not doing this. I said, you can have the business. You can just pay me over the next couple of years. And this guy, he just fucked off and left like an office full of 50 people. And we had no way to pay people. And he had access to the company bank account. And we needed a real quick fix of like, shit, how can we take money for training courses and stuff like that? And we took Bitcoin. And we were like onboarding people in like, I don't know, 2015, 2016 through like Bitpanda, I think it was back then. Just to, you know, like Bitcoin was like, it was just like $600.
Yeah, below 1,000 still. Yeah.
And I just crammed them all into like a blockchain.info wallet. I think I've still got the bookmark on one of my browsers. And I just forgot about it. And then, you know, like one day, just sitting at home watching Netflix, and this show banking on Bitcoin comes on. I'm like, I had some Bitcoin. And I went into my garage, and I'm like, how the fuck to get in this wallet? And then I got in there, and there was like, there's like 6 Bitcoins in there, and I was like, oh, shit, fucking sweet. And then I bought XRP, missed the fucking Bitcoin Cash fork, so I missed like free money. Yeah. Then I sold XRP in the December to FOMO into the top, and then fucking watched XRP soar from like fucking 30 cents to $4. I was like, cunt. I love crypto.
I've been there with you. I made the same mistake. I sold that way too early. After I realized that XRP is like the banker's coin, and that's not, if you're like really crypto, that's not the one you should be in. And then so I sold that, but it did tremendously well in February 2018.
Were we all in the
we all were.
XRP delusional crowd at the very beginning?
I think so.
Oh, this got good fundamentals. Oh, look at their Silicon Valley style pipeline. It's so important, and so many banks are using it. I used to be, as luck would have it, not only was I excited about XRP and I bought in at the wrong time, but I bought in pretty heavy. It was my first crypto that I ever bought into, because I said, oh, this one, I like the logo with the 3 little dots, and it's really strong. The problem was, I also was doing business with these so-called partners that were implementing RippleNet, and I actually had access to their staging place in their lab, and I talked to the engineers, and I'm like, so I hear you guys are implementing RippleNet, and you're going to have XRP, and it's going to work, and whatever. And the engineers in Japan, of course, looked at me cross-eyed and said, "Oh, that shit's over there in that box." And I'm like, so you tested it then? You must have had good confidence. It's going to be great with XRP, right? It's going to be implemented. That they're talking about it all over the place. No, we're never going to implement it. And no, we didn't even test it. And no, it's not a possibility. And I said, well, come on, guys. Why? It's like, okay, in this building, what are the 2nd and 3rd floors? Oh, that's SWIFT, Japan. That's right. We have a very, very important, allegiance to them. We're not going to ever not do SWIFT.
Use Ripple, yeah.
Yep. And then also my friend who handled the Bank Santander account, over in Europe, I called him up right away. I'm like, hey, man, is Bank Santander also going to be implementing RippleNet? No fucking chance. And then I'm like, I'm fucking in just in time for Ripple to go, XRP went down. I had to DCA over the next bear market, an additional like 50 grand just to get right up to my original investment. As soon as it poked its head off the parapet, I sold the fucker for $50, $50 profit. That was my, my introduction to crypto. So thanks a lot for everybody who convinced me to get into Ripple. Wasted almost 3 years of my life doing that.
Yeah.
Savage.
But since you did these scam reviews early on, I think that gave you a bit of a good spider senses for the crypto space, because there is a lot of scamming too. And I remember you talked about BitConnect, for example, but you always said, don't do it, don't buy it, don't mess with it. It's a Ponzi. I think you were one of the few actually in the space who were outright warning about that. Everybody else was okay shilling it.
Yeah, I mean, like people like Sonny Decree did really well out of it, and he pivoted pretty well, and Trevon did pretty well out of it, and he pivoted. James. But it was you could kind of see, like, holy shit, this is like proper Ponzi, Ponzinomics. Yeah. I mean, it was there was just no fucking way that I was really gonna like look at stuff like that and so yeah. I mean, it was just so obvious, and especially remember that Carlos Matos dude.
Yes, at the conferences.
What?
Also John Oliver, I think on this comedy show in the US, he did a bit once on crypto and also talked a few minutes about BitConnect, and he said on their website they're actually showing a pyramid as the company symbol for how this all works, like a pyramid. Like how more obvious,
Savage, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not a pyramid, it's an inverted funnel.
Yeah, exactly. It's a pyramid scheme. But then you kind of you you were one of the few that interviewed Richard Hart very early on, actually, and we showed some clips of that in the intro earlier. When you think back at that, first of all, when was that? Do you remember exactly in which month?
I think it was like late 2019, I think, maybe October, I think. I'm not sure.
Okay, because it was still the talk about Bitcoin Hex was still the name. So
yeah, so I mean, like I had so when I kind of did the whole like pivot thing into crypto, I started talking about shit I had no idea about, and mostly got kind of educated actually by people in the comments. And so it's like, oh right, okay, I know fuck all. Wow, wicked, good to know. And that kind of took me on this journey where I was just really interested in talking about shit like that.
Yeah.
And I like all these kind of ICOs and sort of things like started coming to me going, hey man, we'll give you a Bitcoin to do a video. And I was like, fuck yeah, saw no problem with it. It's 2017. It was like, I don't know, like $4 or $5 grand a Bitcoin. And I was like, yeah, man, I'll call you a cunt for $5 grand, no problem. And that was it. That was kind of how things were rolling. And I'd always come across, because my subscriber base was kind of growing at the similar rate to Richard. So we were always kind of, at the time, around about the 50, 60,000 subscriber mark. And I'd always kind of like, enjoyed the time that I did watch Richard. I've actually, the truth be told, I don't think I've actually ever watched a stream post Hex launch of Richard. I watched a lot of pre
Hex launch. Yeah,
and it really he wasn't even talking about Hex, just more kind of his. He just kind of, I don't know, like exuded this knowledge around Bitcoin, which I just found quite fascinating. And when I saw that it was launching Hex, somebody said to me, "God, that's got to be a fucking scam. You should do a stream with him." And I'm thinking, yeah, maybe it is a scam. I don't know. And do a bit of googling. It's like, oh, that's not his name. The usual. It's like, he used to do this. I was like, yeah, man, I'll get him on the show, and I'll call him out. And I like this 10-minute pre chat with him, and the guy just fucking instantly disarmed me with how genuine he was and everything. And I was like, man, this is a good dude.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff. There were some things that he wasn't aware of. There was a lot that I wasn't aware of that we kind of discussed in the space, and it kind of showed me that this guy was very focused on one particular area and his expertise, whereas I was trying to fucking just get as much information as I could from everywhere. And it's like the old phrase, jack of all trades, master of none. It's like I had a lot of this information around crypto, but I didn't really have any kind of cohesive edge that would say, oh, I know if that coin should go up because of X, Y, and Z. And that stream with Richard was fucking awesome. And at the end of the stream, he said to me off camera, he's like, dude, I really enjoyed that. We should do that again. He goes, I really enjoyed that. And I was I remember I was trying my best to do the whole fucking like Bitcoin claim thing, and I was just so fucking tarded that I just thought, oh, my fucking three Bitcoins I had at the time, it's like, they're not going to fucking claim much. So I just didn't bother. And, I remember...
Don't sell yourself short, though, because what I specifically like, that also not being like a dev or a coder or something, also coming new into the space, you kind of made this stuff digestible for the common man, sort of. You found a way with
digestible. I turned it into shit. You mean?
Thanks.
No,
with your.
Hey, DJ, before we go on to
composting,
DJ, before we give him his flowers for the rest of the show, Keith, or may I call you Keith, or is it Keith fucking, or is it fucking Keith? What should I call you?
Keith's fine. Yeah.
Keith. Okay, Keith's fine. Can you tell me, I'm really, really curious. You mentioned that your buddy talked to you and said, come on, this must be a scam. I'm really interested from the early days, how with the, streamers out there like yourself, the big influential people in the space, how did that Richard's a scam by de facto scammer, default, we got to call him out type of attitude, how did that kind of permeate through the crypto sphere, and how do you view that now? I mean,
yeah. So this is this is a real problem, because like I said, I really got on with Richard. In fact, actually, we have quite similar histories. We both come from like an internet marketing background. Both made quite a bit of money early on in our 20s and stuff. And there was actually quite a lot of crossover. And I was like, he's just like me, just operating at a different level. But I was trying to make a name for myself, right? So I'm trying to also not be scared of what people would think of me, right? And I'd also interviewed that fucking prick Peter McCormack, and the thing is, it's like me and Peter had history as well. It's like one of my his local band. Well, I'm from a town called Milton Keynes in England, and there was a band, a local
close
band,
to Bedford.
Yeah. And there was a local band called Rat Salad that I really fucking loved, and I used to be in a band myself, and he knew the guys from Rat Salad, so we had this really we knew similar people. In fact, we had a mutual friend, so I got on with him. And then when you see him get rising to popularity on Twitter and stuff, and then he's calling Richard a cunt, it's like you're almost a little bit worried to back the guy that everybody's slating. And I kind of just I did my due diligence, loved the guy, had a great stream with him, couldn't get him off the fucking stream. It's like after about an hour and a half, I was like, yeah, man, I'm kind of tired. He's like, no, we can talk about this.
But you also listened to what he was saying, because many of the others he streamed with at the time were trying to be smarter than him or trying to call him out on stuff, and you were not going that route. You tried to learn, actually. I think that's a little bit from him, as you earlier said, with the crypto stuff, and that's what works with him, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely realized that he's far more intelligent than I, and which is, I surround myself full of useless cunts, so I'm not used to it. I was like, whoa,
wait a minute. That this show included?
Thank you.
No. This is pre-Hex. But yeah, no, I really like what he had to say. And do you know what? I remember when Big Payday happened, and there's this monster fucking red candle, and I'm sat there and I'm going, I'm going to put Bitcoin in. I'm just going to put a Bitcoin in. This is a great opportunity. And I had never fucking used Uniswap in my life. And I was like, what the fuck is this? What is this? And, I'm like fucking watching like the tutorials on how to get it to work. And I don't understand. Oh, I need a MetaMask wallet. Oh, for fuck's sake, now what do I do? And, and I'm watching the wick go up. I'm like, I was like, fuck this, man. Fucking decentralized bollocks. And I was like, yeah, I'll stick my coins in Binance, real kind of like ignorant kind of trader. And like when I saw it soaring, I had a lot of people that followed me kind of going, dude, you did buy, didn't you? And I was like, no. And I think I ended up buying it like 7 cents and selling it like it didn't sell, I sacked. So I bought it at 7 cents and sacrificed like 300 grand at when it was like 50 cents. But yeah, like
you staked, right? Is that what you mean? You staked or you sacrificed?
I sacrificed. I didn't. Yeah. So I actually I did. So I didn't buy Hex, like I say, until it was about 7 cents, and I thought, fuck it, I'm late. And I remember it wasn't long after I bought. I was on holiday at this campsite, and I got up early in the morning. I'd been for a run, and I kind of just sat there looking at my phone and was like, oh, Richard Hart stream, I'll stick this on. And like I said, I'd never listened to any post-Hex like Richard stuff, because it was like, oh, he's not interesting anymore. He's just talking about his fucking Hex coin. And I just probably caught the one of the best streams I could have possibly caught in my life. And he was talking about the sacrifice phase and what he was doing. Yeah, and he was talking about why he was doing it and stuff. And at this point, I'm pretty keen on Ethereum at this point. In fact, I was an ETH bull for a long time. And I was like, fuck it, man. Take my money, take my money. And I think at that moment, when that, I think it was, I don't know, I think it was like the July. It must have been something like that, June or the July, and we were close to the second top, I think, in that bull market. Yeah. And you know, I was sitting on a couple of mil, I suppose. Wasn't particularly interested in making videos anymore. You know, I was like, you know, I don't really want to put my neck out. Don't really want to be too public anymore. You know, I just want to have an easy life. And there's a lot of things that he was saying that, you know, were I took kind of like directly personal, like things like he was criticizing people that shield Bybit links. And I'm thinking, well, hold on, Richard, you know, Richard Hart.win used to redirect to Bybit because I signed up under your fucking link. You know,
and was it Arthur Hayes exchange?
BitMEX.
BitMEX,
yeah.
He had,
before, I think
he had links to that as well. Yeah.
And yeah, like he kind of called me out. Somebody said, "Hey, you should stream with Keith Wareing again," and I think he did a screenshot of my comments, you know, my description where it says click here to sign up to Bybit, and it was like, no thanks, not sending you guys to the meat grinder. And it was you know, I was like, well, why is he being a dick? And I kind of just forgot about Hex and Richard after all of that. You know, it was like, well, I've got the sack, that's going to make me billions, and you know, and and actually I just moved away from all of that. I was like, right, well, you know, when I could see the bear market ripping through, I actually de-risked all of my crypto, and I went all in on Solana. I was sitting on like 60,000 Solana. And this was in like up until October 2022 or November 2022. And I mean, I wish I still had 60,000 Sol. I fucking wish. But I'd done a lot of analysis on it. I was like, yeah, that shit's going at like $400. And there was this massive unwinding with FTX when all that drama was unfolding. And I watched my life savings go from like 2 million to 500,000 in like a couple of hours. It was just cascading down. And I was thinking, fuck. That I've got to sell. And I think it went down from like $30 down to $11. And I'm like, fuck, I've got to sell. And I sold. And then a week later, it's back at $30. And I'm like, what have I done? And I was like, I need to make my money back. And I was like, oh, the fucking sack's going to come in soon. I know, I'll pile into Hex.
Nice. I actually bought that Solana dip though.
Yeah, well, I jumped out like a complete and utter cunt, and I plowed into Hex. And at that point, when it was getting really, really bad, I was like, you know what? I'm going to lock up a load of Hex. So I've got quite a few million staked for all three of my kids for when they turn 21. I've got a 555 stake that expires on my 60th birthday.
Beautiful.
Yeah. If
that's gonna be a party.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I was just really kind of down and out in crypto big time, in the biggest possible way, you know, like certain circumstances in my life, as I mentioned before we came on stream.
Sure.
Where I invested pretty much everything I had left in like a healing retreat, which kind of went tits up. And yeah, I found myself about 6 months ago, no, longer than that, nearly a year ago, really kind of just looking at Hex and what the fuck had just happened. And I saw something that I'd never seen before. And I kind of saw the fact that, you know, the price run in Hex in the last bull market was like, don't shoot me for this, it was incredibly artificial. And it was obviously, in retrospect, it was obviously artificial. And by artificial, I mean, you know, the adoption amplifier funds were clearly used to run the price up and to trap people, or I say trap people, to show people, you know, the potential, right? And then I realized that there's a huge whale problem in Hex and versus the liquidity. And I was kind of looking at this about a year ago, and I'm like, there ain't no fucking way that guy I stream with is going to do another one-hit wonder again. He's planning something else. There's something else that we're missing. There's something else we're all fucking missing. You know, the whole, like, it's the world's largest airdrop, all these fucking PRC20 copies and blah, 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 blah. And that's when I realized that he had forked all of the DeFi protocols and essentially done like a hostile takeover of all the best of DeFi from Ethereum, and just gone, yeah, that's mine now. That's mine, and I'm going to use it how I see fit, and that's what I'm here for now.
Yeah.
Because I think there's something spectacular is afoot. And you know, we've all seen the clip of Richard saying, you know, the tweet. I can't remember what it was. It was a clip or a tweet where he says, you know, like 10 cents is nothing on the way to $100, something like that.
Yeah. What's 10 cents on the way to $1? And then somebody said, no. He said, what's $1 on the way to $100?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And you know, that always kind of rattled around in my brain. And I mean, I don't know if like DJ Cryptomatic, if you remember my moon cunt token, right?
I remember Aphelion, but I was heavy invested in that.
They paid me 5 bitcoins to fucking talk about them at ICO, motherfuckers. No. So one day, right? Before I understood how Uniswap worked, I was like, you know what? I need to learn this shit. And PancakeSwap had just come out on Binance and that, and I had quite a bit of BNB. And just for a laugh, you know, because I used to say cunt a lot. And oh my God, I still do. Fucking hell. And just for a laugh, I said, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to create a token, and I'm going to call it Moon Cunt. And I'm going to create a liquidity pool. And I was teaching myself how this shit works, right? And you can still go to, like, if you go to Google and write in poocoin.app /Moon Cunt, you can see it, right? And I put 0.00. First of all, there was 777 trillion tokens, right? So there was massive supply, and I put 0.00001% in with $50,000 worth of BNB, and I showed people how to mint a token. I showed them how to create a liquidity pool, and I showed them how to put on PancakeSwap, and that was it. And I had like 5,000 people in my Telegram group, and I went, "Hey, lads, yeah, try this, buy some cunt." And then, all right, and it ran up to like nearly 3 cents. And if you do the math, you know, it hit like it's like a multi-trillion-dollar market cap in 3 days, and you can still see this chart. It's still there. You can go to Google, you can check it out.
Yeah.
So, but what I learned in this period before. It was a hell of a baptism by fire. You know, what I learned was a very valuable lesson in liquidity versus market cap, and I actually burnt like the entire supply, apart from what the people had in their hands. Yeah, and even though my eyes saw $5.6 trillion market cap, I think it went to $20 trillion market cap, but there was only 600K's worth of liquidity, and I saw. Like loads of people just taking profit because you know that's that, and then it kind of died down, and it was like, fuck, what just happened? And like the chart's spectacular, you know, and so I have this. Sorry, I've got a bit of tooth that's just come out of my mouth.
Another one.
Oh no.
Yeah, sorry, just for context, for people who don't know, I had a tooth out today.
You had a dentist appointment this afternoon.
But yeah, so So I know the power and also how simple it is to create an artificial market cap. So, and also when you don't have sufficient liquidity, the problems that come with that. Now, I can't believe for a fucking second that Richard would be doing everything he's doing with the SEC, defeating them, forking the entire system state, seemingly taking over all the DeFi protocols. I mean, there's a load of controversy around PDI and whatever the fuck's going on there.
Yeah.
There's loads.
P-dong.
P-dong. Oh, yeah.
I heard that.
Token number 2. That was fucking funny. That was fucking
If
funny.
I may just interject one thing, like with the artificial pump in 21, like I kind of disagree with the AA funds being used. I don't believe that. What I think definitely has happened was that he meticulously controlled the liquidity. And then with coming interest from whales, big whales, when there is, you know, properly managed liquidity on the DEXs, then that created that pump. So he was definitely controlling that, and that's the sell pressure that we're seeing, you know, in the last couple of weeks. I'm not sure he himself bought up his own coin. Like I'm not convinced on that part, but definitely he controlled and made it the best possible outcome, you know. And then for a short period of time with the market cap, we have actually been the number 4 coin by market cap. You know, we're overtaking BNB, I think, for a week or two because
I think,
high
DJ,
supply, 50-cent price. Yeah,
DJ. On top of that, on top of what you're saying, I wanted to add on that you know, the whole ecosystem has undergone legal scrutiny, and whatever the magic was, whatever Richard's pouring cup A to cup B, he played the system, made people really excited, galvanized a community of like 250,000 users, and no harm, no foul legally. So I think that it was a masterful introduction. I think you're right, for some other things to come. So I think that's whatever it was. Anyway, I'm frozen.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. You know, no, definitely. I mean, I think that in order for Hex to continue to be a success, I think Richard must have seen something within Ethereum to say, hey, you know, if I had control over this, then this could go in, you know, like proper hockey stick season. As for how the price ran up so hard in the first bull market, yeah, look, I'm not going to talk indefinites or absolutes, should I say, but it's certainly what I don't see happening is in this particular season, the growing narrative of the ETH reserve, the SAC funds being used to pump anything on Pulsechain. I was like, that makes no fucking sense. Yeah, because like, who's going to buy? You know, who's going to buy it again? Because there's no money left. So it doesn't make any sense for Richard to put in this massive cash injection. What makes more sense to me is that he goes, hey, I haven't fucking touched that, and look what's happening. That strikes me as the sort of thing that individual would do with a fucking grin on his face, and I'm rooting for the guy. And I'll tell you another thing as well. One of the reasons that I've really stood by Richard in terms of my...
tweeted the other day, he's a pure soul. Like, has there been anything or nothing that disappointed you from your interview back then up until today with his actions?
Not at all. No,
outrage marketing or anything.
That was weird. No, I've been subjected to a smear campaign in my life recently, and anybody who's been the subject of a narcissistic smear campaign, hello.
Hey, it wasn't me.
Hello.
It wasn't me. I have been called a narcissist, but it was not me who smeared you, sir.
But anybody that's been a victim of one of these smear campaigns, you can spot them a mile off, and that's what's been happening to Richard. It's where basically all the real fucking snakes will come out and they'll point at this other person whilst they're committing atrocities. And the dude was fucking out there, you know, like telling people what the scams were. That's a fucking scam. That's a fucking scam. That's a fucking scam. And you know, he was right on the money. So people are fucking scared of the guy. You know, because you fucking point your finger, he points his finger at you, you're fucked. Your reputation's fucked.
Celsius, that was on camera. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually interviewed Celsius because they paid me, and they actually destroyed my first YouTube channel because they paid for views on my channel. Like, I was averaging, not many, maybe like 2,000, 3,000 views a stream. And they were like, oh, hey, we've got this new thing. We're doing this ICO. Can we come and can Alex come and talk to you? And I was like, yeah, no, I'll do a stream, you know, whatever. And all of a sudden I had like 40,000 views, and then I couldn't get any fucking, it just killed the algo. It was like, prick. So I was quite glad when he went down. But no, so my point being, when I see somebody who's attracting a smear campaign, I think that's somebody that I want to stand by, because I don't believe what everybody else is saying. And that's why I think that whatever he's doing, whatever it may be, I think it's going to shock everybody. And I personally, I've got some theories, and I think that there's stuff he can do that's within his control that won't just pump like the Pulsechain ecosystem. He can create insane buy pressure on Ethereum, because the very basis, the way that people exit Pulsechain is, most people do it buying ETH to bridge out. Right, yes. I know I do, because it saves the gas is sorted. You know, fuck going into Tether or USDC that could be frozen. So the success of a lot of people are saying the success of ETH will be the knock-on thing that will be the success of Pulsechain. And I think it's the other way around. I think the success of Pulsechain will provide a massive fucking blow off top for ETH. And that's what I'm here for. And I'm here for watching the motherfucker grin like a Cheshire cat
and come back.
Look what I did, you know.
Yeah, and the marketing. I also believe we don't need him to deploy the SEC funds at this point in time, but I think we need him to assist with the marketing. He needs to get out there again and be on shows, be at conferences, you know, just be present, like a bit more than just tweeting once a week.
I've got to talk about this. Has anybody seen? There's a meme, right? And it's the cartoon meme of somebody who's drowning and then their hands coming out of a puddle of water, and someone's like put the captions. It's like, Richard, do something, and he's putting his hand out of the water and again, you suck at marketing. High five. Fucking cracks me up. I can't remember who posted it. I was looking for it the other day.
The P-Dong story. Is there any chance you can clear this up, maybe as an exclusive on our channel? That was like when the Vietnamese extraction happened, right? Then all of a sudden we had a certain P-Dong appear on the Twitters.
It was, you know, it was just really funny. I thought the story of some Vietnamese kid in a hut out foxing, you know, like the Giga Jew brain of Richard
the big
Hart.
brains here.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, man, this is nonsense. This is satire, right? This can't be real. So just for a laugh, I just changed to my profile, which at the time was just like Pulse Ball 33. I just changed it to like Richard's tied something, and it was Vietnamese of Richard Hart, and I changed the photo to this Vietnamese dude that was doing the rounds, and I just started trolling people and really pissing off people like KTPs. I'm like, KTP's got skid marks in their knickers and stuff like this. just being a real fucking child, you know. And someone said,
"Oh my gosh!"
And I just wrote P-Dong at one point, and someone went, launch it on pump tires. Oh, fuck it. All right, then. So then I launched it on pump tires, and then I became P-Dong for about 2 months.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Just going around trolling people. And I tell you what, man, it's funny. I'm blocked by so many people
because of that.
Pulse alert and stuff like that.
I followed P-Dong. I thought it was hilarious.
P-Dong was great. I had interactions with P-Dong, and I thought, hey, something is off here, but I had no idea that was you.
I just was so bored, and I just enjoyed calling certain people out. I've got a real disdain for people that were behind sacrifices because it was so fucking obvious what was going to happen. Yeah. It was so obvious. You know, being previously an ICO shiller and seeing how the fuck that ended out, you know, in a bigger ecosystem, I couldn't believe certain big accounts like KTP, who I cannot stand. I just think, fuck you, you know, fucking with their Power City bollocks and liquid loans. And although, to be fair, I'd have spoken to Crypto Crazy from Liquid Loans. I like the guy. 50 million. I'm not really sure what anybody was thinking for that. But obviously this is where the sell pressure is coming from. It's obvious that the sell pressure is coming from all the people that have been extracting from within. And you know, like, and I was a liquidity provider for the very, very beginning of Pulsechain, just fucking raping all that INC. And just cramming it into like bigger hex bags, PLSX, and all that sort of stuff, just building a nice portfolio. Yeah. And you know, I'm getting hammered every fucking day, and I'm like, where are all these fucking sellers coming from? And then you see the big voices starting to point the finger, you know. And I thought the PDI narrative, people were blaming, like, oh, KTP was like, if you buy that coin, you're killing the chain. I was like, don't be so fucking retarded. If people buy a coin on a chain, it's adoption, you fucking idiot. And I stand fucking here today as somebody that was down to his last 20k in crypto, and when that shit dumped, I fucking apes like a motherfucker. And today I can buy a fucking Lambo if I want. Fuck you, fucking skid mark knickers.
Yeah,
Good
that
riddance.
bottom was
Jeez.
it's hard. That bottom was scooped up. But how have you been keeping up to what was going on? Because I've never seen you on like community streams. Have you been like? Do you know the players? Like, do you know like RG3 and all these people, or have you just been on Telegram or?
No, so I found interest because, like most people that see the PDI to dollar thing, like about a year ago, I thought that's fucking retarded. That's so stupid. You know, don't be such a moron. And then I just got really in depth for kind of last November with ChatGPT and started like just kind of to and froing with kind of, you know, things that could be done with the protocols that are available. And I think there's something here. You know, there's something here. And I spoke to some of my old investors that used to be my old crypto groups. And there's one guy I know. He knows a dude who I met recently in Marbella, who's like a venture capitalist and worth fucking fortune. And he's got contacts with these Chinese lawyers that know Trump's lawyers. And he asked the question, it's like, hey, does anybody in Trump's office, lawyer's office, know about this thing? And a bit of feedback came back. Like going, yeah, they're aware of it. It's come across our desk, and the only reason that it hasn't pegged is that this was the exact feedback that I got, that he got from them. It hasn't not pegged because of a technical issue. It's because of a political issue, which said to me that there's something here. There's really something here, and that's the only reason I'm in. And that you know, and I see it as a fucking great narrative to onboard people. But also, if the DeFi protocols can be leveraged to sustain an artificial peg or a synthetic peg, and create an environment where people can mint rather than gigadump for eternity, it solves a massive liquidity crisis that will perpetuate for fucking decades on Pulsechain unless it's addressed. And even though certain actions have been taken now by the OA of like massively staking to reduce the rewards, to stop people from really, really hammering it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I was looking the other day at maybe converting my bags and buying 100 million HEX and staking it for a month on month. And based on the previous like returns that it was offering, that would give me like 50 grand a month.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, no wonder there's been this immense sell pressure. And I fucking nearly bought, you know. I nearly swapped. And I was like, no. But in order for this to succeed, there's got to be something going on here. That I don't believe for a second that he would talk about it so much and then go on that massive tirade with that ridiculous story about a Vietnamese dong handler in a fucking... You know, I just thought that this is a joke. He's having a laugh.
We on this show, we've always been on the fence. Like we understand it's a fork of DAI and it has all the mechanics and makers there. So of course, technically, if certain levers are pulled, it can peg. We just always had a problem with the people shilling it and promoting it and pump and dumping the tops. And,
yeah, I totally agree.
And that was where I was like, fuck you guys. You know, the technicalities, of course, everything is possible there.
I totally agree. I think that some of the narratives that came out, there's some people right now that are talking about, they're faking Binance stuff. And I think I saw somebody post, 200,000 PDI have been sent to this Binance address. And I'm like, well, it's not listed there, so that's just somebody that doesn't believe that that's ever going to peg. That's a pump and dump technique from 2017. You know, that's like you know, you used to get people fucking taking photos.
We see that.
Google offers. Yeah. that kind of stuff it really cheapens it. What I do find very, very interesting is a comment that Richard made about saying that the ESM being triggered doesn't do what people think it will do. and then it actually transpiring the fact that now it can't ever be shut down again. And this then opened up a thought in my mind of, well, hold on a minute. Richard was getting criticized for dumping all of the SAC money into ETH when it was previously in DAI, and people were fucking taking the piss out of him and going, oh, yeah, that was a fucking good trade. It's like, well, yeah, but it was being investigated. And like, if he was sat in a stable coin that could have been blacklisted, that could have all been taken. Correct, so the only logical place for it to go was in ETH, which means that there's a market placement fit for an uncensorable stable coin in a economic climate where stable coins are being completely butt-fucked by the Genius Act. And I'm looking at it, and I don't understand that all the mechanics. And like you say, there are certain actors that, out of their own personal want for it to pump and shit, might be saying things that are obviously lies. And I think that's always going to happen in anything. But when you actually kind of look at what tells a stable coin that it's a dollar, I mean, when you actually think about it, like logically, there is no money on the blockchain. Zero. Nada. Doesn't exist. You cannot put money on the blockchain. It's impossible. You can't put money on the blockchain. There's no money on the blockchain. Nothing. It's impossible. So how the fuck do you peg something, right? So then it's all a matter of code, yeah? And it's just a matter of tricking the code to say, this never goes below $1. And that's a game that I think somebody that I spoke to once on a live stream would like to play. And I think that in order to do that, you would need control of all the DeFi protocols that exist on Ethereum. And I think that that's what he's been doing quietly in the background, whilst everybody's playing with the little toys like pump tires and PulseX, fucking liquidity farming, earning ink, and blah blah blah.
Games and bread to the people.
Yeah. It's like feeding like rice to the pigeons whilst she's just sitting there going, right, if I do this and do that and do that and do this, and then I genuinely believe whether it's PDI that does it, you know, it would be amazing. Yeah. But you know, the prospect of creating that kind of amazing environment where people no longer need to sell, so then liquidity isn't an issue ever again. I mean, not everybody's going to do it. Not everybody's going to, you know, mint their own coins. But he's been teaching people to mint their coins from day one. So I don't know, man. If you think about it logically, let's say, you know, when you do collateralize on MakerDAO, I think you lose like 33%. Well, you could offset that by staking HEX, for example, you know, for God knows how many years. So you're not necessarily losing anything. And again, you know, like if he pulls it off, if this thing happens, you've got the double multiplier, right? So you've got, you know, I think it's like a 200x from today's price on PDI to $1. And then you've got potentially a portion of 44 billion going into like the core coins, and you've got another fucking 1000x. Well, then that's just 200x times 1000x, not 200x plus 1000x. The gains are insane. And then, like I say, you've got the knock-on effect of when people want to exit, they're going to go, right, okay, fuck it, I'm going to mint a load of fucking DAI, and now if I want to bridge some out, I'm going to buy, you know, let's say you make $1 billion and you're staking it, you're making like I think Sky Money, it pays like between 8 and 12% depending on the time of year. So you've got $1 billion and you're staking $1 billion, right? You're making $220,000 a day. Well, then that's one person buying $220,000 worth of ETH every fucking day. All of a sudden, ETH's fucking gigamooning, which is then like naturally pulling up everything. And I just see this, you know, the pain that we've all endured and all the blood that we've kind of been sat in over the last fucking 4 years, which has been psychologically.
Yeah, I just hope for our sanity's sake that he will come back soon and clear many of these things up, because I think we need a bit more a clearer direction. It's a lot of guesswork, but I think, as you also are saying, we're sitting still in the right place with him. And Wild SJ has said on the conference on Tuesday that one of the first overseas containers with the marketing product, whatever that is, that he's shipping out to people, is apparently on the way the port and about to be shipped to the US. So
you mean the clitoral stimulators? Those are great.
yeah,
Those are
you said
awesome.
it's
I
a
think I know what they are.
battery-driven dildo, maybe. Or
Yeah.
So like I know that Richard wears like his designer gear and he wears like Philip Plein and stuff. If you buy Philip Plein shoes, right, when you open up the shoebox, there's like sometimes there's like a little video that plays. And it will tell you the story of, you know, the leather that the shoe's made from and all that sort of stuff. So I think he's probably seen that and gone, yeah, I fucking like that. That's cool as shit. You know, so we're all going to get
Interesting.
We're all going to get these little fucking postcards that say, "Hey, you suck at marketing."
Hey, Keith, you spoke about incredible potential and why it really piqued my curiosity. But pulling it down to the lowest common denominator of what people really care about, where do you see price going in this bull run for all of the assets in this ecosystem? What do you think? Are we going to make it?
So like technically, like chart wise, the like I don't know if you know, I used to do a weekly TA for Bitcoin on Cointelegraph, and the charts are fucking horrendous, right? They are horrendous. There's actually not much you can do with the charts, if I'm completely honest with you.
Toby will try to do something with them.
I'll see what I can do. I'll do my best.
But I think that realistically speaking, I would be really, really surprised if PLS doesn't run up to a cent. I'd be really surprised.
Wow.
And whatever that does to everything else, I think that's the goal. And I think that even if it gets to 50% of that, I think there'll be just an insane run that will close the gap. Personally, I'm not thinking this cycle, but I do think that this cycle is going to be fucking insane. As for, I think one of my biggest holdings used to be INC. INC, I've always said that's a 3-figure coin, you know, minimum $100. So I think it was like that. I mean, the all-time high was like 80 or something like that, wasn't it? Something ridiculous.
Yeah, 80 bucks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so somewhere between like 100 and 300 bucks, I think, for INC.
But that was before the bridge happened. So I think like the bridge wasn't live yet, so nobody could leave the system, and then that traded.
Oh, I was leaving.
No, not in the first 3 days.
No. Yeah.
And then that traded it up to 80 bucks, and then as soon as the bridge was live, this all came down again. So I don't know if these prices that we had in the first 2-3 days can actually
let him cook, DJ.
Anything.
Come on, I don't want moon math to go to waste.
No,
but a penny
they're
pulse is
data
amazing.
points. They're data points, though. So
I think that these prices that I think all the all-time highs that we've seen are going to get obliterated, like 100% before the end of the year. No doubt about it. Hex, I think I did some analysis on Hex a while ago, and I saw $8. And I can't remember why, but I think it was on a fib, and I was like,
fib extensions.
Yeah, this might do that actually. And then you got to look at the actors right now that are dumping like fuck, especially the suspicious God whale sack to BankX. There's someone about that just screams redistribution. It's like, hey, it's almost as if Rich has gone, hey, they're going to show you what it can do, and they're going to fucking trash the price. And if you fucking believe, then you're going to fucking buy, and you're going to be in for a magic carpet ride. And I think that we're just witnessing redistribution, and I think it's coming to an end. I think we've all seen the tweets today, right?
Dumpy the whale's gone.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
many say redistribution, and it's also perfectly bounced back.
A little bit.
I think the community has. Let me just show this one screen here, and then we get to TA with Toby in a second.
By the way, Keith, it's amazing to see that you're a Hexican through and through.
Yeah,
you're staked, you're held, you know the whole story, the lore. You interviewed Richard, and we've never come in contact with you until now. Welcome back. Welcome home, man. One of us.
This drop here was the community, because they saw the whale put this giant sell order in. So some whales in the community front ran this, and then the whale actually started selling down here, and see how perfectly this has been eating up by the guys potentially who sold this down. So yeah, that's classic redistribution. if you think about it. And now he's out, so it's another one. It's another one gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keith, do you
he's
still
pretty much
have
that.
10 minutes? We can look at some charts with Toby, or do you have to run?
No, I don't have to. I've got nothing else to do. I'm
can
fact,
still-
I'm
still hang
perfect.
out.
Like most of us.
I'm loving it.
That's
All right, so-
that's the bulk of my viewership. People with nothing better to do.
Awesome. So we're gonna do
So-
TA with Toby. Look at the core coin
Yeah.
charts, and Keith,
do it.
please feel free to chime in if you have.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Any
I'm always
comments?
down for anything other than
Yeah.
Dude, that intro cracks me up every time. So that's back when I had hair on my face and my head, but those things, thanks to this prolonged bear market, the head hair went hasta bye bye. So anyhow, as you will see, Keith, and I'm sure you will confer with me on these, is that Bitcoin has been in a giant ascending parallel channel for a long time. Like if you take it all the way back here to this little dippity do, that's 17. But trust me, if I go all the way back, you see data points where it's hitting all the way back to 2012. So this is a prolonged ascending channel. And just so you know how my TA works, it's like I do all the other fancy shit for myself on the side. I keep all the stuff that I do here on the show because it's a short segment and I try to keep it simple for people. It's entirely pattern trading. And the way that I've always described it is I used to play blackjack for a living and I used to count cards. So there were some very advanced card counting methods that were exhausting. And you could do them, but there was a price to pay as far as how long you could play at the table before your brain is mush. And then there were some simpler methods and you were only losing a fraction of a percentage of edge over the house. So the simpler method allow you to play longer. Maybe you're going to miss some of the stuff that could indicate, when to raise your bet or sit out. Same with TA. I think a lot of the other stuff, the bells and whistles, I was a student of Eric Crown. So I've got, I paid $5,000 for the Joule indicator. I still use it. It actually kind of lines up a lot with the pattern trading stuff. So I just kind of focus on the pattern trading because it keeps it simple for people. So with that being said, we've got this giant parallel channel with Bitcoin that's been going back for 13 years at least. And, 13 years, 2012. So as we were coming along the bottom of it here back in November of 22, had a lot of touches, came up through the midline, came up here, peaked in December of 24 after Trump had confirmed that he's our president and everyone was super bullish. We had an expected pullback and then we had another run up as expected right on Inauguration Day. Had another pullback and then we started to see a little bit of a descending yellow parallel channel forming, and then some speculated this could be a bull flag. This would be the post of the bull flag, the pole. So that's what you see with this diagonal line. This is the measured move of the breakout of this bull flag. If it is indeed a bull flag, we'll find out. The thing that typically plays out more consistently is measured moves of just the parallel channel itself. And as you can see here, we came to the bottom of the parallel channel. We wicked down just below the measured move. The measured move of parallel channels is, as anybody that's paid attention to me for any length of time at all, is the height of the channel. So that's that vertical yellow line there. So as expected, as soon as we broke and confirmed it was a breakdown, we went not only to that line, but a bit below, worked our way back into the channel, came above, and then the expected breakout of that one was going to get us to about 117.6. And sure enough, we got that and surpassed it. So we wicked above it a bit. As anyone knows with channels and patterns, typically you're looking for breakouts and then a retest. We have never broken out. Let me say that again. We have never broken out and sustained above this channel ever. So we broke above it. That's a first. We are now still fairly above it. We're just shy of 120, but we did wick down right back to it at 115.7. So that's telling to me. That's the confirmation, in my opinion. Now, does that mean we're going to continue to run up this big green box? Just ignore this. I put this box on this chart like 4 years ago because I knew we were going to get back to the top of this line and I knew it'd be in this time range. And lo and behold, but I mean, you could dig up Helen Keller and she could have told you that because 4-year cycles, right? So the pole of the flag shows me a measured move up to around 158K. A lot of times I've noticed just from experience that the not only the height of the flagpole, but also the slope of it will give you an indication of time frame. So this is showing that we could actually get up to as high as 155K by beginning of October. which I don't think is outside the realm of possibility. And then then you got to start looking at the new patterns, and you got to see if maybe we get some over exuberance and we get a push up to 200K or so, or do we get a pullback, another retest later in the year to shake a lot of people out, and then we get another run to all-time blow off top highs, maybe 200, 250K. If you're looking at fib extensions and stuff, then, that's going to give you some of those higher numbers. I try to keep it simple and keep it as conservative as possible. So moving on from Bitcoin, we're going to go to HEX, unless you had any comments on Bitcoin.
Yeah, can I just say something, actually?
Sure.
Yeah, I love the chart, actually. It's really interesting. I have been watching a bull flag from... Hold on, I'm just going to check the date on this. That started forming in between March 2024 to October 2024, that broke out, I think in, like late October 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Right here. Yeah,
right here on the chart, it's like that, and then this long bull flag, and then that was the break up to the new.
And and like I've got a target of 129,000, which it hasn't quite yet hit. So it's interesting so I've been like super dialed into that, but to see this parallel channel and the breakout and the close above the channel and the retest above that channel is to tell you what, it's exciting, because I got, my theory was that we're going to hit 129 and then ETH's going to run, and Bitcoin's going to then fall back down a little bit, come down for a retest of around about you probably don't want me to say this, 80K.
That's what I was. That's what I'm. Yeah, same. That's what I was thinking too. Yep.
And then it's going to springboard up again to, like you say, the blow off top.
Yep. Cool. Nice to have some someone concur.
Interesting, because Ivan on Tech is advertising 150K, kind of like you did as a top.
Yeah, right.
And Richard's call is still 250. That's Richard Hart's, I called the top on the day prediction, but that was a year ago, so things have changed. I don't know.
Yeah, things have changed indeed. So something that hasn't changed is HEX. HEX is Richard's firstborn son, everyone's beloved original hex token that Richard put out years ago. That's the reason that Keith became enamored with Richard and his ecosystem ultimately. And as you know, being a Hexican and being around for all those years, we have had a tremendous long downward sloping white parallel channel that we topped out in September 21. Obviously, we came and played around with the midline for a long time there. We tried to break out in March of 23 when we had the famous death tweet with the HEX PHEX debate. I believe that was around that time. And then we just dumped along with everything else. We rode the bottom of that line, tons of confirmation there that this is a legit channel. Came up, wicked off the 55 EMA and also the midline of that channel, worked our way along the 21 EMA, tried to get above the 100, couldn't get there, fell again. And then again, just textbook, just rejection. We had some wicks below, of course, but ultimately we'd have closes above on the 3-day at least. Work our way back up, rejection off the midline, back down, and then we've got this orange internal channel that we've been watching for a while here on What the Hex. And what we have noticed here, and you got to consider, we've got some interesting stuff happening with Dumpy, right? Dumpy the whale. There has been some considerable price action and volatility with his activity. HEX in particular was going to behave a little differently, and I predicted this as he started to dump, and I was telling people, hey, if you want to try to catch wicks, God bless you, good luck. I'm a big proponent of not taking counterparty risk whenever necessary. I really have a lot of faith in the Richard Hart ecosystem stuff, but you don't have V3 single-sided liquidity, you don't have limit orders, you don't have those things available in Pulsechain yet. So if you're going to go play on 9mm or 9-inch, and you could make these things work, good for you. I'm not going to take those chances. So anyhow, with Dumpy, what's really telling is, we had a nice move up here to 0045 on HEX. And if you notice, this orange vertical line out of this parallel channel didn't quite make the full measured move because, hey, thanks, Dumpy. Dumpy smoked it. And then he went all the way down actually beyond the midline of the channel. And there was an opportunity for I don't know how many people to get HEX at 001 for that fast, right? So, and then we wick back up. We're already back up to 0014. I was just checking while we were talking earlier. He's got less than BankX left now on the HEX side. I knew that the volatility was going to get crazier on this side because I feel like it was buffered on the PHEX side because PHEX primary pair is with Pulse. So if he's selling PHEX for Pulse, one's going up, one's going down, but the liquidity bonding is such that it's not going to make it as crazy, as far as just a full-on dump of the PHEX price because of that bonding. And then obviously, the drag-on effect is he's bridging out that pulse, which he has sold everything so far that I can see on the Ethereum side, which obviously the drag-on effect is Pulse and PulseX, which you'll see here in a minute, have suffered some pretty good dips over the last couple of days. So this is a 3-day. Had the big wick down, working our way back up. We're at 0014. It looks like Dumpy's tapped out. He's got a little bit of EHEX left, maybe 100 million. BankX is still sitting on 147 million at last look. They did sell a few. They sold about 3 million about a week ago. So they are starting to sell again. So maybe they're waiting for Dumpy to get out of the way and the price to start to work its way back out so they can get a little more extraction. So that's EHEX. Moving on to PHEX, which is, the new and improved Richard Hart Hex version. Like the movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. This would be the Arnold Schwarzenegger in theory. So we've got, we had a long parallel channel going up. We broke down from that and we formed a new white parallel channel coming back down, just shy of trying to hit the top of the channel, rolled over and kind of rode the midline, started to work our way back up again. And it's all in this time frame that PHEX was getting dumped by Dumpy. That doesn't look too hateful considering he had 660 million to get rid of. So that kind of proves my point that it was a little buffered. You didn't have the giant violent wicks down.
And right? I think the community stepped in here to protect us from going to Valhalla.
Well, people were ready to buy dips, bro. It's like, I was locked and loaded. It's like I was just, since we don't have limit orders and I'm not fucking around with V3, it's like, if I was at the computer at the time, I would snap up some dips. But if I wasn't, then I just missed them, So I think it's risky to try to trade it and think that you're going to end up buying it back lower. And that's why I was advocating for everyone to just, DCA is the safest bet, is my opinion. So anyhow, working down through this channel, now that Dumpy's out, BankX can't do any damage to the PHEX side, really. And it's just a matter of, and I think Dev Kyle was dumping a bunch. He doesn't have a whole lot left either. I think he's got about 100, like 31 million EHEX and PHEX, I believe is what he's sitting on, if I'm not mistaken. So not a lot. Even if he chose to liquidate the rest of it, I don't know that he would dump entirely. It seemed odd to me that he was selling any at all. But, you don't know what people's personal situations are. And my theory is that possibly he was following Richard's lead in a way as far as riding the ETH train, because what did he trade into? He traded into ETH. He didn't trade into stables. So then he can ride the ETH pump up and then rotate back into Pulse. As long as ETH is going up faster than Pulse, he could theoretically come out ahead, right? And come back into the Pulsechain ecosystem with his ETH gain. So we'll see how that all plays out for people that like, the wallet watchers out there. I typically am not one of them, but it's in the zeitgeist. So I always, I got to mention it. So hopefully we can get back up here to the top of the channel around 0065, 007. A full measured move breakout of that would get us up to around 2 cents. So hopefully we can turn this ship around and start working in that direction, obviously with ETH going up. And if, Bitcoin finds support like we're hoping and it continues its run, it's a lagging thing, right? Like altcoins always run after Bitcoin and Ethereum shoot their shot. I think it's going to be a similar thing this time around. Also, we talked about this briefly on the PulseX conference, or I guess we being me and the voices in my head, said how I was thinking, like, if someone's putting out 1 million digital postcards or whatever the fuck they are, they probably don't want them to get into people's hands. And then they go and like, what Pulsechain? And the chart's dog shit. Likely, in my opinion, is possibly somebody with some bags would, whether it's friends of his, whether it's his personal bags, maybe it does or does not come from the OA SAC address, but I would anticipate around the time those postcards or whatever they are anticipated to hit, he wants that chart to look better because that's going to entice people to FOMO because they're going to be like reading about it. They're going to see the chart running and they're like, oh, wow, I need to look. It's going to be a call to action, right? Because it's like they look at a dog shit chart, they're going to throw that thing in the fucking garbage. Not most people, even no coiners, are going to look at that and be like, yeah, this looks like a great buying opportunity. FOMO is real for everyone, right? So that's my opinion on that. Moving along to Pulse. Pulse here, we have done a bit of consolidation, a little sideways chop. Big selling today from Dumpy over on the Ethereum side, where he bridged all that out and dumped it. And actually, we just had another tick down there. So we're at quadruple 027. We broke out. I was hoping we continue to run up. And this, over the last week or so is when Dumpy's doing his shit.
Hello, Cell Pressure. How are you today?
Yeah, right. So but we did, just as far as like paying attention to structure, like here we had the ascending yellow channel. We did the full measured move down, just almost to the tick on that one. Worked our way down this new descending white channel, found some support on the bottom, started to round over and come up through the top, saw the breakout. I'm like, all right, let's rock. Let's get back up here to these other levels, get above the 200 EMA would be fantastic. And, push us back up to maybe 4 zeros and a 4. But Dumpy happened, but Dumpy helped us get a confirmation on the top of this channel. So in my mind, if Dumpy's out and there's not a tremendous amount of sell pressure and Ethereum continues to run, this could be the confirmation we were waiting on. And then our move is actually going to be from that. And then that takes us, I'm always looking for confluence, that takes us right to that 200 EMA. So you're looking about 0036. So hopefully we can get confirmation and continue to work it.
Cup and handle right there as well, man.
Yeah. And I tell you who loves a cup and handle is our German friend DJ Cryptomatic, because that motherfucker sees him in his sleep. So it's like,
look at the smile.
And I mean, if you want to play with the cup and handle for a second, it's
learn
like
from the best.
What you're doing on a cup and handle is you look at the top of the cup, right? So like, let's say that line, we'll make it bright red. To make it, well, that doesn't look good. Let's do blue, maybe. That's still hard to see. But anyhow, that's the top of the cup, right, on both lips. And then essentially what you're looking to happen with the handle is it comes back up and then it breaks the trend line that was the level of the cup. And then typically on a cup and handle breakout, if you do get it and confirm it, it is the height of the depth of the cup, right? So interestingly enough, if you take that and extend it from there, then we're getting up considerably higher, and it's taking us up beyond the 200 EMA.
Nice.
And if a cup and handle really actually plays out, then we're looking at quadruple 043. So then that would be getting back into these previous structures. And then ideally, if we want to really kind of take into the whole picture here, and let's do it on the 3-day, make it a little easier to get on one screen. So basically, this is the entire history of Pulse. So the idea here is that we get back above this midline, which is around quadruple 028. Oh shit, my stuff blinked out for a second. All right, it's back. And then start working our way back up on the 3-day. Obviously the EMA's changed. So the 200 EMA on the 3-day is about half a sack. And then the top of the channel is pretty much at sack. So if we do what I'm anticipating, which is September, October, Q4 is coming, we're starting to make moves up and we get to this top of this channel, then the measured move of the big daddy channel that's been going on forever gets us up to about 7 times sack. So still a far cry away from a penny, but it's on the way. And then if you start looking at fib extensions, the 2, the 3, time extensions, it's like shit gets crazy fast. And quite frankly, anything above 2.8 times sack, which was our all-time high, it's a blue sky breakout. I mean, you don't really know where the top is, right? So because we don't have any other resistances or supports that we have to contend with because it's all new territory. So it'll be fun to watch. So strap in. Moving on to Pulse X. Pulse X has been similar situation, a bit of a consolidation. We actually did get the full move up on Pulse X, which was nice to see from this channel, this yellow descending parallel channel. So we got up to that, which also coincided with the 55 EMA. Got a little bit of a tweezer top here, and then that coincided with Dumpy McDumpington doing a lot of his stuff. He was actually doing some dumping back here too. So PulseX just kind of ate it, which was remarkable. And then he dumped some more in this region, and there were some other bigger dumpers. I think CryptoSolve had pointed out some people that were dumping PulseX. So anywho, that kind of did its thing. And then right now we're right just shy of the 21 EMA, which is that little yellow squiggle that you see there. And we're at quadruple 02. So, hopefully we can find some support on that and work our way back up. This looks maybe like a bull flag, but there's not much of a pole to speak of. So I'd say this is more just kind of a consolidation pattern and a accumulation zone, in my opinion. Could we roll over and come back down, test the top of this? Maybe. I think there would have to be some really bad news or something, or another dumper coming out of thin air that really would do some damage. So I really feel like we're consolidating here, kind of shaking off the stink, and we're going to start rounding our way up and try to get back to the top of its gigantic orange channel. And you can see here, I'll go to the 3-day on that, make it so it's very similar. chart to Pulse, right? It's like this is the giant channel from the beginning of it all. So it's a matter of us getting back to the top of that channel, which puts us at about 42% of SAC 4042 sometime in September. And if we can get that breakout, come back here and test and go, the measured move of that one gets us up to around 6 times SAC. So which is interesting, because you're looking at about 6.5, 7 times SAC on Pulse for a breakout of the pattern, about 6 times SAC on Pulse X. Again, same rules apply. Once you get above the all-time high, which for Pulse X was 1.4 times SAC, it's, Katie bar the door. I don't know how high it could go, but it could get crazy fast.
Katie skid mark the knickers.
So moving on to the baby of the family, the clown. Everybody loves the youngest.
Ink.
Let's go. Hey, Brizology, pep up your ears, bro. Now we've been talking about this. Me, the voices in my head, and have been talking about this for a while. This dude, I used to trade like for a living for a while. And this is a trader's wet dream. It's just like in a pattern. I mean, it's so easy. It was I resisted and I didn't trade it. I bought some dips here, but I did not sell them when I knew they were going to roll over because I can't bring myself to sell any Richard Hart tokens yet. So anywho, chop. We're back here at the bottom of this range and wicking off of it already. So if history, this short-term history is any indication, I think we easily get back around the $1.55 to $1.72 mark. And then if we can, somehow just keep moving up and not this just perpetual sideways chop. But even if we did do that, we've got this bigger yellow pattern that's been playing out for a long time with ink. And, so even if we can't break out of it, we should find strong support around $1.28. And then, maybe it's going to come down here and start playing out the bigger yellow pattern. And, I don't know. It's hard to call. But look at that, dude. I mean, this is on a daily. So this is all the way back to May 30th. Just like right there. Just in that range constantly. Ping-ponging from $1.30 to $1.70. So yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I think, I like my ink bags. I have no intention of selling any of them soon. I would be really tempted to buy some at this range. Not financial advice. Moving on over to Ethereum. Maybe
it's looking pretty bleak.
Yeah, I know it is. It is bad. Yeah. Vitalik is Vitalik on the Ethereum
Enhance
Corporation. Enhance.
Refresh,
Let
maybe.
me refresh that tab and see if that helps us out. There we go. All right. Where's my lines? There they are. Okay, cool. So similar to everything that I talk about, it's about a parallel channel, right? So this one, I didn't go super far back. I just went back to 21. So we were considerably above it, but it's like, I was really paying more attention as far as these other tops back in March of 24, again in May of 24, and then December of 24. So those were kind of what I was gunning for when I was drawing this channel. And then I saw some considerable supports back here. So felt pretty confident in it, although we did not get all the way to the bottom of that channel. The thing that I was more confident in is this shorter term pattern, which again, it's kind of like another bull flag scenario. So, you got the nice bounce off of the lows of around 1300 back in the beginning of April. Run up here, we've got this nice flag pattern going. So the big question is, does this end up being an actual bull flag that plays out as expected? What we did see, however, is just the parallel channel portion of it is that it did actually make the full measured move and then kind of consolidated around that range. This is a 3-day. Let me go down to a daily. Yeah. So we did make the full measured move and we chopped sideways on that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days before we finally got above that measured move. So that was interesting to me that we didn't roll over and retest again. So this is really bullish. And we're working our way up. So the full measured move of the bull flag would take us up to around $5,400 Ethereum, which I think everybody would be pleased with. And then, if you're talking about the bigger orange channel and what that breakout should lead us to, we got to throw a little vertical in here to get the top and bottom. Let's see where that takes us. And it kind of depends on when the breakout happens. I mean, if it's as soon as, maybe we run up and then we pull back and test the top of the channel. And then maybe end of September, we actually confirm that the breakout, then that measured move takes you up to about $15,000 Ethereum. which
What,
to me makes a lot of sense.
It's pumping
Well, I
right
think-
now because of the legislation, I guess, that's been passed in the US, and Trump is going to make a big signing ceremony tomorrow at the White House. So I've heard. With
Hello,
the
sell
Genius
pressure.
Act and all that. So,
Right.
Not to sell the news.
Yeah,
but
sell
Keith,
the
do you
news.
have anything on
No,
Ethereum?
no.
Like, what
Well,
is your
I wanna
vision
add
for the
one-
next 6 months? Sorry.
I want to add one last thing, and then everybody else can go. What I find interesting about this measured move on Ethereum, taking us to 15,000. If you remember the first chart, Bitcoin, the measured move of its bull flag was taking us to 150,000. It's a 10-to-1 ratio. If anyone remembers 2021, and before, and 2017, excuse me, especially, what were we looking at? We were trying to get above that 10-to-1 ratio, and we've never been able to do it yet. So it's real curious to me that it would play out as a 10-to-1. So we'll see.
It's interesting with ETH. I actually remember doing TA on ETH a couple of years ago, zoomed out. I can't remember what time frame it was, but I could see like 20k ETH in the not too distant future. And I think you're right. I think that measured move taken up to 15k will be the beginning of that. Just quickly going back to your charts, right? I don't know if you noticed this, but actually all the core coin charts, with the exception of Ink, have all got beautiful W's on them. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh yeah, you're a white off guy.
They've just gone from like and then it's just like, hey, look at me. But Ink is actually like, I don't know. You say it's a trader's dream, but it's like, what the fuck is happening there? Who the fuck is offloading? That's unusual. It's
Being
I
suppressed,
expected to see more bullish price action on Ink based on the market cap and liquidity ratio compared to the others. But those W's, man, oof. I look forward to the day where we're just going to look, and that's everything we're analyzing now is just going to be a flat line, because they'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to fucking look at that, because we forget that this happens in crypto.
I think it's traders. I mean, I think the reason that pattern is there and that it's been chopping like that is people are trading it. And then what invariably happens is the smart traders accumulate the dumb traders' coins. So those, and it's like, anytime you look at anything, there's a winner and loser in any uptick or downtick in a chart. And it's like, I assume that what's happening is smart traders are seeing that pattern and they're playing it out smartly, and then the people that aren't so smart are basically getting diluted. They're losing their bags, to the smarter traders. So that's why I don't advocate trading unless you really, really want to make it your life. And even then,
I hear you, man. I did it for like 8 years.
yeah. So why do you think I'm bald, bro?
Keith, what's the future? Will we, to round it up here, will we see more of you on streams again, or are you saying I'm too rich for this shit? Or...
No, not I'm
too rich for this,
because that was really great. Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like when I kind of retired and got out of crypto and the public and the limelight, it was for a reason. I've got a family. I've got, didn't want to be a target. I was already living in this tiny little fucking fishing village, driving around in a brand new 911. It was pretty fucking obvious.
Everybody knows each other.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, man. I've enjoyed today, and man, I was cracking up at some of those fucking clips. That
the intro
Neo clip.
Yeah.
How did you get that Neo clip? It kind of makes me want to do it again. But I don't know, man. I like being in the. I like being down in Hexaco, man. That's I find they say you vibe with your tribe, and I like a lot of the attitude from the people in this in the hexagon space compared to the rest of crypto. There's a lot less arrogance. I think we've just had a nice flush of the arrogant ones out, actually, which is beautiful. I don't know, man. I don't know. I might. I really enjoyed being a non, having a go at KTP. That was I can't say it was my best Saturday afternoon, man. I was like, this is fucking sweet. She's getting so angry. But I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'm definitely up for coming on the stream again. That's for sure.
All right.
Cool. Hey, just to promote myself for a moment, if you've enjoyed the Hexaco music video, that was me. Like, nice. I put that together. I wrote that. I actually got a guy that was on The Voice and America's Got Talent to do all the vocals and the music on it. And I thought it turned out great. It was a ton of fun. Papa loves to shit on it, but I was also a
wasn't
producer
Johnny
on the
Chaos singing that?
Everybody was in it, dude. It's like I got so many people in on that, and it was such a good time. And I know when to stay behind the camera instead of in front of it, so you will not see me in the video at all. But it was a great deal of fun putting that together. And then, the other thing is the highest stakes. I'm one of the producers on that, so that's another thing Papa loves to shit on. So
Do you know I've never seen that?
Absolutely love to shit on it. Yes.
Yeah, it's impossible to get that in Europe now, right? Like it was on Netflix for it, not on YouTube
Yeah,
for
it's
it. They got pulled down, didn't it?
It gets, I mean, it's basically as active as our distribution channels are at getting it pulled down. So I mean, it pops back up all the time, man. It's like whack-a-mole. You can't get it off of there. But if you try VPN, that might work. Because I know, like when I was in Europe, I couldn't get certain American things, and I was able to do it with a VPN.
Nice.
So you can give that a try.
You know where you can see it, Keith? The PlayStation 5 now has it as a free game, and it's for retarded kids only.
Nice.
You can see it, you can interact with it. You can
If
play
people
it.
like to get in touch with you, where can they find you, or should they follow you on the Twitter? What is the best way to get in touch?
Well, I'm at K33FVV on every platform, but I don't do anything with them yet. But yeah, mostly Twitter for now.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, once again,
Cool,
thanks
man.
for coming on. This has been great. What a flashback for me as well. Back into those very, very
I
early
can't believe
years.
how long you fucking followed me, dude. That's not, mate. That's old school.
Yeah. No, I've been around there for all this time. We got 170 people watching.
DJ was
yes.
he was fanboying so hard when he was telling us like who the upcoming guests were. I'm like, who the fuck is Keith
couldn't
Wareing?
believe
I'm like,
you.
I've never heard of this guy. And then I
have
start
fucking in the middle of my name.
Right?
This guy.
That's perfect.
That's who I fucking am.
and then I found you, and I'm
German.
like, oh wait,
They're fucking.
Yeah, my co-hosts were like, "Who is this guy?" No, but
Right.
you're the legend, Keith Wareing. Thanks for coming on,
Good stuff.
and we got 170 people watching right now. Smash the likes, follow up, all that good stuff. Get a T-shirt, get a What the Hex T-shirt. You can
Why
support
not?
the
Get two, they're
Pulsican,
small.
or get two. You can support the Pulsican-Store marketing initiative.
what's the
They're-
website?
They're sending out free shirts to everybody. The link is down in the video
And by
description.
the way, we do
Yes.
not make money on the shirts.
We don't. It's
Don't make money on anything.
no, yeah, but it's a
You
good
can even get free
initiative. They're
ones.
sending out free shirts all around the world. Have sent thousands of shirts. The guy in Scotland doing that. A Scottish Patak. He was on the Pulsex conference explaining everything around it. So link is down. Click that. Support that guy. That's good stuff. And I guess we're out of here. Papa B, any last words?
I'm very delighted and honored to have met, and now I know more about Keith fucking Wareing. Great hooking it up, DJ. Toby, great TA. Somebody in the chat said they'd like to compare Keith's TA against Toby's. It would be great if you can dig that up at some later date. We'd love to do dueling type of thing, but he did give his input on your TA, Toby, as well. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it was fun, and it's like, and I always like to have people like Axis, dude. His stuff is like he's going down every rabbit hole, so it's like Axis kind of loses me, and I feel like he loses a lot of people. But his stuff is tight. It's like he does a good job with it. Axis alive, God bless you. But yeah, it's like, and it's such an easy commitment for me because it's like I'm not here for the whole fucking show. I come in for the last 15 minutes. I do my little TA spiel, and I'm out. So yeah, Keith, if you ever want to come back and just do a little thing at the end, so you don't feel like you have a whole hour now to try to film.
Give me a few days to clean the porn off my computer, and yeah.
Do not clean. Keith, and also another thing, our door is always open. If you want to come back, come hang out with us, great. Fuck all those other streamers because they don't love you as much as we now do.
That's right.
So come on back to us. We got the exclusive.
It's been an absolute pleasure, lads. Absolute fucking pleasure.
Well, hang out in the green room if you got a minute. I got some secrets.
All right, you guys. It's an outro. We see you on the next one. Cheers.
Peace.
Outro.